Hello everybody, this is Saberrex coming to you live with my second review for the Beasts of the Mesozoic 1/6 Scale Raptor Series action figures by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva. And today we are going to be looking at the second figure in the toy line, Atrociraptor marshalli. So here we are, and there it is. And before we take a look at the figure, let's take a quick look at the packaging for this magnificent toy. So here we have the Atrociraptor marshalli's packaging. Beautifully done illustration by Jonathan Quo. This is the magnified version of the full-scale illustration. As you can see, inside the box is the removable diorama, which I showed you in the first one for Velociraptor, and these come with all the figures, so very fun to put those behind it for added effect. And if we flip to the back, here is the full body illustration for Atrociraptor, again by Jonathan Quo. Fun facts about Atrociraptor, including information regarding that it might have had smaller toe claws than is normal for dromaeosaurs, that is to say the raptors. And there isn't really much known about Atrociraptor other than that, because it's only known from a single fossil of what is the jaws, the front of the jaws. So it's based on this. It's really assumed that it was more of a biter than a slasher like the other raptors. Moving on to that, here is the list of figures in the Beasts of the Mesozoic toy line, not including the fans' choice variants. And that's about it for the packaging on that. So let's move on to the figure itself. So here we have Atrociraptor marshalli, or as I like to call him, the Bulldog Raptor, or just simply Bulldog, because this is a very heavily built looking raptor. He's very stocky, very robust, very nasty looking, and I have to say, I just love him. He is so cool to look at. I mean, the coloration that David Silva chose for this is beautiful. It's based, I think, on a Harris's hawk, which is one of my favorite birds of prey, because like many raptors are believed to have done, that bird of prey is actually a pack hunter itself. So I think that was a very smart choice on David's part in regards to the figure. And I'm going to show you close up just the sort of detail that was put into this. It's beautifully done. I mean, I love the head sculpt on Atrociraptor. He looks absolutely menacing. That eye is just it sends chills down my spine, if you can believe it. And I love the teeth sculpt on he looks absolutely terrifying with that set of choppers on him. And the scale pattern and the feather detail on this are beautiful as well. I really love the dry brushing for that. And in particular, I also love the color on the neck. The underside of the neck has been really well done, and those feathers look exceedingly realistic. I mean, just kind of wow. And the underside of the chest, equally well done in addition. Now, in regards to articulation, the articulation points on these are all universal, and they have 26 articulation points on each of these figures. So I'm not really going to go into that as much because I've already covered it with Velociraptor. But yeah, you can pose these however you want. And in the case of this figure, the tail I talked about previously, how there are two ball pegs inside for you to position the tail as you see fit. In this figure, where I positioned the tail was into the lower ball peg slot here, so that way the tail stood more erect in a position where it was much more dynamic. Like, instead of the straight out tail I showed you on the Velociraptor, instead I had it straight up like he's actually moving his tail as he's running. Now, in regards to the detail on the tail, I love the tail fan itself, and he's absolutely gorgeous in that regard. On the underside, there's also this brilliant red coloration that I think looks really good on it, and it really is reminiscent of birds of prey. And the wings are absolutely beautiful as well. I love the wings on this. Now, in regards to his wings, these are probably the shortest wings on all the Beasts of the Mesozoic figures in the toy line. He definitely has the shortest wings. So it definitely is one way to differentiate him in regards to his design from the other raptors in there, and I think it works really well with him. Yeah, he's just absolutely awesome. And I have to say, this is quickly becoming one of my favorites in there. I mean, along with Velociraptor and Linhayraptor in the toy line, he's definitely one of my 3 favorites in there. And that's really saying a lot. Now, the stand is pretty much the same with the clip-on and leaning accessories. Now, if you're curious about the leaning attachment piece, you can go back to my video on Velociraptor and have a look at it. But at the same time, this clear translucent stand is essentially the same. The base for him is a bit different as well. It's much more lush and verdant looking, and I really like that because it shows he was living in a different environment from Velociraptor. And this is an American raptor. It was found in Canada, and it lived in what is now the Dinosaur Park Formation in Alberta. And it really, really works for this. I mean, it really looks like he was coming out of the jungle in this. And on the underside, like with the previous Beasts of the Mesozoic figure, he does have a compartment for his extra sets of toes. As you can see, he's got 1 set of running toes and 1 set of walking toes here. So, very nicely done in regards to that little compartment. And if you look here, you can see just what I mean in regards to his running toes. They do curve downward and they're bunched together, while on this foot they are splayed apart and better for supporting his weight on the ground. Now, he does have some balance issues, but that is because of the way I posed him again. He is a little more off balance if you don't position him right than Velociraptor is, so do be careful when you pose this figure, because he has a tendency to fall over a little bit easier than some of the other Beasts of the Mesozoic figures. But yeah, he's absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot say how much I love this figure and how grateful I am for getting this. He's beyond cool. He really is. Now, in regards to size comparison, I'm going to show you how he compares with one of his fellow Beasts of the Mesozoic figures. Here he is with Velociraptor himself, as you can see there. Now, he is a little bit shorter than Velociraptor. I mean, that may be because of the way I posed him, but I think overall he is a little bit shorter. Not by much, but enough. Height-wise, he is a little bit shorter. Like maybe about half an inch at most. But yeah, he really looks a lot more menacing in regards to his color scheme than the Velociraptor does. And he looks ready to take a bite out of anything. And yeah, they are about essentially the same size, about 12 inches, but I would think lengthwise the Atrociraptor is maybe less than a quarter inch shorter. I'm not exactly sure, but he seems shorter to me. And yeah, he screams more of the type of attitude that, I don't know how else to describe it. He looks more aggressive than the Velociraptor does. So there you have that. And again, in regards to size comparisons, like with the Carnegie dinosaurs and the Safari Limited dinosaurs and the Papo dinosaurs of the same type, like this beautifully done Papo Velociraptor, there really is no size comparison between the two. He is a lot larger than the Papo Velociraptor. And yeah, again, no real comparison there. Now, here he is again with the Safari Limited Velociraptor. You'll remember him from the previous video. And yeah, lengthwise, he's almost as long. Height-wise, not so much. And again, there's the accuracy issue. There, no feathers. And here he is with the Carnegie Velociraptor, which is from the retired Carnegie line by Safari Limited. Again, no real comparison, size-wise or accuracy-wise. And there you have it. He's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful figure. And I am so very happy in regards to how he looks, the fact that I got him, and I highly recommend this figure to anyone who is able to get at him if there are any of these figures left, because he is well worth the money. As he was one of the original 3 that were made for the start of the toy line, he was about $40 as opposed to $35 for the rest of them. He may be a bit more if there are individuals of this figure left. And yeah, well worth the time and well worth the money to get. He is just glorious. If you really like the fearsome looking raptors, this is the one for you. And yeah, he is just, yeah, he's fearsome, he's formidable, he's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love this figure, and I cannot recommend him enough. So this is Saberrex signing out, saying, you're never too old to play with toys, don't be afraid to unleash your inner child, and you have a good day. Thank you.